Dun 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 dee doo dun 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 dee doo dun 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 dee doo dun wow 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 wow.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 5 of Community Minded. Today I got Captain Jeff Siegel of the Elkhart County Sheriff's Department. And first I want to start off by congratulating you on the Republican nomination for sheriff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you having me on today.
Definitely, yeah. So I like to go right into it and just gonna dive into the questions. I have 4 questions for Jeff today. I don't want to take too much of his time. And my first question is, what is your favorite part about your current role as captain at the Elkhart County Sheriff's Department?
Well, there's really so many things that I love about my current position at the Sheriff's Department. Obviously, we can't talk about all those today. Plus, I would have probably needed some notes.
Sure.
You know, working at the Sheriff's Department, I mean, the last 8 years has been phenomenal. We have a great administrative team that we all work together and solve problems together. But you know, one of my favorite things is my team of detectives. You know, I always talk to them about teamwork, and it really makes my day when I see them attack a problem as a team and then have the success at the end with, you know, either an arrest or, you know, maybe just fixing a problem in a neighborhood. But, you know, coming to work and seeing them perform that way, just, you know, they work well together, and some of the stuff they can do is like really amazing. You know, some of the technology things that they use every day is amazing to an older guy like me, because it's like, wow, if we'd had that back in the day, what could we have done?
Yeah.
So, you know, the teamwork is pretty cool, and it's kind of keeps you motivated to come in to see what they have up their sleeves every day.
Yeah, so spin-off question on that. What's your favorite piece of technology that you have access to, or that your team has access to? How about that?
Does it have to be one I know how to work? Or
No, anything. So like a drone or something.
No, we're in the process of getting we don't call them drones in the law enforcement world. It's
Okay.
an unmanned aerial vehicle.
UAV.
Yes. You know, we have some devices that use cell phone data, and we can do analysis on cell phones, and it gives us a lot of information on what people have been up to, what they're thinking of doing, what they've done. I don't want to give out too many secrets because
I think that's pretty common knowledge, though. I mean, Google already knows everything I do and say. So,
well, I'm sure Google knows it, but hopefully people that we're dealing with aren't using Google. Maybe they're using Yahoo.
Yeah, that's a lot safer. All right. So, next question. Since you are the Republican nominee for sheriff of Elkhart County, what is the first thing you plan to change or add to the Elkhart County Sheriff's Department?
You know, again, that's something that we do a lot of great things now, but there are some things we need to change or tweak or, you know, start and stop doing. When I was running during that last election cycle, community is the number one thing for me. One thing we're definitely going to tweak is we have a web reporting system, and I think sometimes we force people to use that in situations when they shouldn't be using it. You know, it's a great thing to have as an option, but forcing someone to use it versus a good old-fashioned face-to-face with an officer is not something it should be substituted for.
Okay.
A lot of times, if a person is the victim of a crime, and I use this one for example all the time, someone comes and you leave your car unlocked and they steal your change in the ashtray. Heaven forbid you actually still have a radar detector or a GPS, and that stuff gets stolen, and you have no leads, no information, no suspect, you know, information that we can use to follow up on. You know, that may be something that's good for a web report.
Okay.
That's something you can do from home. You can do it at your leisure. But if you're a victim of a fraud or, you know, another type of crime where you believe you know who did it, or you have some evidence that maybe the suspect left behind, that's when we need to get you connected with an officer so we can have that face-to-face. That way, that initial investigation, it's going to set the tone for what the detectives then have to do.
Okay.
So really, you know, getting back in tune with people and going out and responding to their crimes versus saying, well, I'll go file it on the web, when in all actuality, it should be something that
Sure.
should respond.
So I mean, I got 2 things from that. You're gonna help the community understand how to use the web correctly and saying, hey, this is what this is for.
Correct.
It's a technology that I would like you guys to take advantage of. And then the other side is being more personable with citizens on certain things like fraud and cases where they might know the individual. So,
Yeah, because so many fraud cases, I mean, those are really, can take you down a whole bunch of trails.
oh, sure.
And a lot of those, the victim may be in Elkhart County, but we need to do a few extra things to find out, okay, did this crime actually occur here?
Yeah.
Or maybe we just had some the other day that happened up in like Maryville. That's when we need to find out from our citizens, did it happen here? If not, where?
Gotcha.
What led us to believe it happened in another jurisdiction? Then we need to, communicate with those other agencies on, hey, this is what's going on. You guys have a problem there.
Yeah.
You may be seeing other cases like this also.
Okay. All right. Next question is not about technology. It's more of it's going to be a little bit of political hot one.
Okay.
But I have friends and family in the area that would be like, why didn't you ask him? So I'm going to ask you, what is your stance on immigration? Would you be willing to share your view on that? And then an example of something, would you as sheriff, if you win in November, would you detain any DACA recipients if they were upstanding, hardworking individuals for maybe letting their documentation lapse or expire by mistake or something?
No, and this is something if your friends and family didn't get to see this while we were campaigning, then shame on them for not paying attention.
Right?
We got asked this at quite a few forums and the debate that we had at IUSB in Elkhart. The Sheriff's Department, we're busy enough as it is, and immigration is a federal issue.
Okay.
So just because someone's documentation has expired or they're here illegally isn't something we can even enforce anyway. What we're going to enforce, though, is if somebody is a resident and a citizen of Elkhart County and they're victimized by maybe their identity being stolen by someone
Sure.
who is not a citizen, we're going to actively pursue them.
Okay.
But just somebody living here, working here, raising their family, and being a good citizen,
Yeah.
even though they're not,
Yeah.
they're not going to be high on our radar
until
they start victimizing others with other, traditional types of crime.
Yeah, because I have I know a lot of DACA recipients, and many of them, actually I'm going to say 100% of them, all of them, are just people that are super hardworking, trying to start their families. They tell me just all the paperwork that they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to do some documentation myself for a couple of friends where I had to document his life here. And I had to go back through pictures and try to find it. I had to dig through all the stuff my parents had, old school wise, and so that's really good to know that you're not going to actively pursue immigrants. You're going to kind of leave it up to the Fed level.
Yeah, and it is their problem. My personal opinion is, look around us. We have so many immigrants, whether they're legal or not, that do amazing things here.
Yeah.
We're the capital of the RV industry, and how many of these people that are working in that industry may not be legals, but yet they're critical to what happens in our county.
Yeah.
So we're going to go boot them out. I think the government needs to provide them with a better and easier vehicle to citizenship.
Yeah.
Versus making them have to feel like they need to live underground.
Yeah, create a common sense policy that if you have several American citizens that vouch for you, there's some type of that was one of my processes that I always thought would be valuable. Say, hey, I have a group of people that would vouch for me. Here's the documentation they presented. Let me stay.
Sure.
Because I have a friend who's a super hardworking person. His wife actually ended up following him back to Mexico with their child. She didn't want the child to all of a sudden not have the dad that's been around for 6 years.
I think a lot of us maybe have been to Mexico on vacation, but really don't know what it's like there.
Yeah.
Because we're not living there, working there, raising families on the interior of the country. Usually we're at their beaches.
Yeah.
Which are awesome.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, no, but yeah, you don't see the interior, the inner workings of Mexico, the governments, the gangs. It's it's all around this country too. People in America glorifies our beaches, our really cool cities, but you don't talk about we try to downplay the crime, right?
We do, because I don't think anybody wants to be known as that crime-ridden neighborhood.
Yeah.
But that's why, if you're a gangbanger here illegally from Mexico or wherever,
Yeah.
And you're committing crime here, that's when we go into actively pursuing you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually, I think, a really good segue into the next question. Do you believe that police should be more involved in the community, specifically the Elkhart County Sheriff's Department? And what are some things you'd like to do to be more involved?
Well, I think the Sheriff's Department, we've got a very unique jurisdiction. You can look at the northern half of Elkhart County, really the northwestern quarter of the county is very, urban.
Yeah.
But yet we've got the southern part of Elkhart County, then you go over east where it's a little more, they're agricultural neighborhoods, very rural, not urban.
Yeah.
So we've got to really learn to deal with a unique population.
Yeah.
We need to be understanding and dealing with, the different diversities that live all over here, because all those diversities can make our job difficult or easy, and how we respond to them is going to potentially also make it hard or easier or something like that.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, definitely being involved in the community is huge, but it shouldn't just be, it should be at all levels.
Yeah.
But part of, one thing I do stress, and we stress this now at the Sheriff's Department, is not only do we value our employees, but we need to value those we serve.
Mm-hmm.
So does it matter what your diversity is? No, it shouldn't. We should value you no matter what you are.
Yeah.
Whether you're maybe a person coming into the jail to bond out a loved one, the staff working there at that jail should be understanding of the situation that family member's in.
Yeah.
So that way they can facilitate maybe it's the first time the person's ever been arrested.
Sure.
Maybe that's the first and only time they'll ever come into contact with law enforcement.
Sure.
We want to kind of, set that foundation for them that, hey, we're not as bad as what you may see on TV. We're actually here to help.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something that I think is a problem in America right now. Is there's this clash between relationships with citizens and police, which, in my opinion, I feel police are high respected and they are the ones that serve and protect the area. I don't want someone trying to break into my garage at night. I have a neighbor about 3 houses down from me that's a Goshen police officer, and I love that he just leaves his car on the street.
Sure.
It makes me feel a little bit safer. I think it helps deter some crime. Nothing has ever happened on my property at all. I canceled ADT.
And that car that's another, it's not on your question list, but it's a great point, because the Sheriff's Department, we have take-home cars, and yet you'll have some citizens who don't necessarily understand why.
Yeah.
Well, look at your feelings just from having that squad car sitting there. It makes you feel a little more secure at home.
Yep.
I'm sure your wife and kids are the same way.
Yeah.
But also, when those officers are maybe out driving that car off duty, that is sometimes doubling the number of officers out on the streets that are able to, when we're off duty, even though we never are, if I'm driving to buy, something at Menards in my police car and something goes on, I'm still going to respond.
Okay.
If I come across a traffic crash, guess what? We still stop.
Yeah.
So having those officers out there, it's not necessarily, some of the public thinks those are just joyrides going on.
Yeah.
We're still always in an instant going to be called to duty and have to perform some function for the community. So it's not all about just cruising around in a squad car. There actually is a pretty good reason for having those take-home cars.
Do you guys have like a ride-along program where if people are more curious about like the Sheriff's Department and the way police work, if they're just trying to understand it at a deeper level, would you guys, if someone like a citizen called in and says, hey, I want to understand the police more, can I do a ride-along? Like there might be a background check or something, but is that something you would allow citizens to do in the future, or?
No, we do that now.
You do that now, okay.
People can come in, you're going to have to go through a little bit of a background check.
Sure,
That's no
make
big
sure
deal.
everyone's safe, yeah.
And we'll partner you up with a patrolman. You can go out and see what they do. It would be interesting for a lot of people because it's not lights and siren all day or all night.
Oh yeah. No.
It is hours and hours of boredom sometimes with a few minutes of excitement. So it's definitely an interesting career.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And I know you were undercover for a little while, weren't you?
I did. I was undercover for almost 4 years.
Okay, that's exciting. So, and
I had a little more hair back then.
Yeah, you were business up front, party in the back.
Yes, I did. I had a rockin' mullet.
Nice, that's awesome. Maybe I can find a picture somewhere. I saw it on one of your campaign videos. I'll see if I can put it into this video.
Yeah, I think I had a shirt and tie on with that one, so that was really. I was going to court that day, so that would be a great photo.
All right, well, that's all the time I wanted to take from you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Sure.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions or comments for Jeff, feel free to leave them below, and I will send them to Jeff. We formed a level of communication scheduling for this video. So I hope to see you guys all next time. Until then, take care. See ya.
See ya.